Well, hey guys, welcome back to the Booth Customs channel. I am John Mark Booth, and with me here is my buddy Austin, the Goon Prepper. This is part 4 in our series on how to build or buy a custom AR. So far, we've covered why build instead of buy, how to buy budget, and what parts benefit the most from upgrades. And today, what have you got for us?
All right, so today's question is, how do I differentiate quality from hype? What's popular and expensive?
Yeah, that's a big one because there's lots of LARPers out there that are hyping up certain things and doing it for the gram.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we've all been there.
We've
all put on our shorty shorts and our plate carriers and done
Hey
a little
now,
photo
hey
shoot.
now, hey now.
I had mine on this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you get a photo shoot?
I didn't get a photo shoot, no, but
Okay.
it was still worth it.
But hey, Silky's in a plate carrier.
Silky's
It's a
in a
vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's a
Yeah,
vibe.
that's not hype. That's just function.
That's right.
So-
And maybe,
Maybe.
we'll see.
Yeah. Stay tuned. But yeah, so hype over what's actually worth it. I'm always going to go back to talk to somebody first. That's one of the reasons it's important to kind of have like I hate to use the cliche, it's now a cliche, have a tribe of people that you have a group of people that you talk to about these kind of things and like share ideas and so on and so forth. Do your research and discover, just because, the military is issuing, I don't know what kind of like,
It depends on the
lighter.
branch and depends on the MOS that they use.
Right. So, for instance, I don't know, it doesn't matter if the military is issuing Surefire lights or not.
Yeah.
Like, does not necessarily mean that's the best one for you. Like,
Right.
look at your budget, look at what you need it to do, and then go from there. And also, I like to look at smaller companies that create a good product, like Cloud Defensive, for
Yep.
instance, or something like that.
Yep.
Is that on topic or?
No, it is. It really is. And kind of with that, you kind of have to have that balance too, because like with Cloud Defensive, there is a lot of hype about their lights right now.
But justifiable hype.
But it is justifiable.
Yeah.
I mean, they back it up.
Mm-hmm.
They have essentially a Vortex warranty.
Right.
And, I mean, the torture tests that they put those lights through are incredible. So, yeah you're dropping a pretty penny on it.
Yeah.
But it measures up to, what's promised.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing, too, is like you're going to get a lot of hype over, especially like mainly, I guess, accessories like optics and things like that. And there's going to be companies that, sell their product on Amazon and it's, 300% cheaper than whatever else that you were looking at. And it's going to be 300% cheaper and last 300% less time.
Right.
Right. You're going to shoot and the reticle is going to come loose, So they're like playing off the hype. And it's like, I'm making this cool looking stuff, but it's not all about cool looking. It's about how well it functions. So,
Right.
read reviews, do your research, talk to your friends, reach out to us here at Booth Customs. Praise God. And we'll set you on the right path.
Right. Well, because, just between the two of us, the experience that we've got with ARs is I don't want to say immense,
Yeah,
but
well,
it's significant.
it's not small.
Google said it's above average.
Yeah,
So,
Google says it is true.
that's right.
So
Bill Gates said. Wait, no, that's Microsoft.
yeah,
Same
whoever,
difference.
yeah,
They're all lizards.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. Yeah, and you brought up a good point with like you could find something that's cheaper that'll do the job, but it might not do it as well or as long. I've been in conversations with several friends about weapon-mounted lights since we brought up the Cloud Defensive, and this one is a Rain 2. So they've even upgraded since, and
Yeah.
the 3 is essentially a spotlight that you can put on your rifle.
Yeah.
The power of the sun.
The power of the sun.
But you think about you think about like what is it? The Streamlight ProTac.
Mm.
It does the job,
Yeah.
and it's a lot cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
A lot cheaper. But it's not as tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not near as bright.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember how many lumens it is, but it's not.
I think its top is 1,000
Yeah.
because they've got like
That's right.
like
It is
a
1,000.
325, a 6
Mm-hmm. That is sick.
625, 675, and then 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
This one is 1,200. I want to say.
Out of the box.
Yeah, out of the box, and then the are we talking about price or lumens?
Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. But then on top of that, you add the Candela, which is just out of this world. I think that one's 77,000 Candela. So I mean, you have a beam going down range that you can light up anything at 300-400 yards
Right.
without breaking a sweat.
Yeah.
The Streamlight ProTac,
Not so much.
you can clear a room with it,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're not going to be able to use it outside.
Right. And that's, goes back to purpose. Like if you are planning on using the light inside, you might not need something that's quite as powerful as that.
Absolutely.
So, you can like weigh your options there. But if you're going to be like out in the woods and you need to be able to see way out there and illuminate God and everybody, cloud might be the way to go.
Right.
So,
And you also have to take into consideration that a big name doesn't necessarily mean quality. It might mean quality enough.
yeah, good enough.
It might be it might be good. It might even be good, but it might not be great.
Right.
So sometimes saving a little bit of money, or not going with the company that has as much hype, will end up serving you better in the long run.
For sure. And I mean, things like that, it's you can always work into it, / use something else until you discover that you actually need that more expensive, hyped up product.
Right.
I'm a real minimalist when it comes to stuff. Like I'm more apt to not put something on my rifle and just wait and see if I actually need it, which is not always the best option.
Well, I'm the exact opposite. So.
But I'm
So
inspired by you.
this is a good
It's
combination.
a good combination, yeah. Somewhere in the middle. We have to take the middle path,
That's right.
as Buddha said.
Between the two of us, you will find some wisdom.
You'll find some wisdom.
Yeah. And, you hit on this in part 3, actually, is...
I did good work in part 3.
Part 3 was a good video. If you haven't watched part 3...
Go back and watch it.
Yeah, that one was... nice.
Nice.
Government contract companies. I think probably the best example on my rifle is I have a Daniel Defense barrel. And when I built this rifle out, my initial thought process was I want it to be, tack driver.
Yeah.
And I went with a Cold Hammer Forge chrome line barrel from Daniel Defense. And I mean, that thing it's a tough barrel. Those are battle proven barrels.
Yeah.
FN is the same way. You get a barrel from either one of those companies. I mean, they're government contracted, so
They have to meet a certain specification.
right, and they do very well. But since they have government contracts, they can sell their products at a higher cost than what they're actually worth. And that's something that you kind of have to take into consideration. Is just because it slaps Knight Armament, Daniel Defense, sometimes even Geisley, because Geisley has some contracts, FN. Just because it has a big popular name on it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best at its job.
Right. Yeah, and that's, very valid point, because people will go crazy over a certain name and they'll be all fixated on the name. But when you could buy possibly a less expensive version that will either do just as well or outperform, That's why I'm a big fan of Ballistic Advantage barrels, because they're budget. They're not top tier, but they're guaranteed sub MOA at 100 yards. And of all the ones that I've installed, I've not had any issues with accuracy with any of them. So, there's options out there that need to be explored before you just like jump on the hype bandwagon and be like, oh, well, it's, FN or, Daniel Defense or whatever else. Do your research. And if that's what you want, go for it. I won't say no.
Right. But just because the SEALs use it, or
Yeah.
just because this is what's issued to the Rangers, that doesn't mean it's best, and it actually probably means it's overpriced.
Yeah, for sure.
So
They got to make up that money somewhere.
right. And they know that civilians will pay for it.
Yeah, right.
Because we will.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs are probably like the best marketing team for guns.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That and Minecraft and Call of Duty.
Right. And another kind of thing that kind of ties with that, I think a perfect example of something being overpriced because of name that even goes past like a barrel would be muzzle devices.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because, so I have a Surefire War Comp on here. And puts you back like $130, I think. If you get it on sale, you're still paying over $110 for a muzzle device.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of, I don't want to say better because it's still just a muzzle device.
Right,
But you can find a lot of muzzle devices.
A lot of quality muzzle devices.
Yeah, for a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to throw a Surefire can on here, so that was my rationale behind it.
Right.
But if an A2 bird cage will do the job, then...
Yeah. Well, that's...
Yeah.
A2 bird cage right there, sort of. That's a little bit upgraded one, but basically the same one. Yeah, because, and honestly, like, so, something like that on Austin's gun, like, you're planning on putting a can on it, great. That's perfect. That's what you need.
Right.
But, like, if you're just, building a budget gun or building your first one or whatever, nothing is wrong with the A2. You can get a bunch of, like, brakes and muzzle devices, flash hiders are like, oh, well, this will completely hide the flash. This eliminates almost all the recoil, and you will not notice the difference between that and the A2. So, my opinion is, this is just as good as anything, especially if you're like first starting out, because again, you can get into the weeds about what angle that thing is turned to, and
and at the end of the day, does it really matter that much?
Probably not.
Probably not. Unless you have a specific purpose.
Right. Which you do.
Which in this case, in this rifle, I do, but my other ones at home don't.
Yeah.
So, A2 bird cage.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Before, you put a A2 bird cage on there, and before you change it out for something else, spend a lot of time at the range shooting that thing, and make sure that you are accurate with it as is. Then you can decide where you need to go from there.
Right.
Like, be proficient, then upgrade. You don't, go straight from a tricycle to a Harley Davidson. So, like there's no need for that. Like, you need to hit that Honda somewhere in between, man. Like, get that on that 750 and let that 750 eat.
Yeah. For sure. Crawl, walk, run.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I've got for part 4. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and join us next week for the last video in this series.
All right, we'll see you next time. Make sure you tune in. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and share. Let's see if we can defeat the algorithm overlords and get our stuff out there.
And comment some sunglasses, because that's cool.
It's real cool. It's first rule, always be cool.